Veteran Franklin W. Irvin Jr. was born in Shade Gap, Pennsylvania on October 28, 1946. Irvin enlisted in the Navy in 1966. His highest ranking was an E4 petty officer, but passed tests to become an E5. He currently resides in Shippensburg, PA, with his wife. Before Irvin's service, he lived with his mother and stepfather in Manheim, Pennsylvania. Irvin had no siblings. His mother worked for Schick, and his stepfather worked for a farm bureau.
What were your parents or siblings, or just parents' feelings about you joining the service?
I didn't have much. My mother was disappointed, but
Irvin graduated from Southern Huntington School District and worked at the Ray Bestis Manhattan Corporation. Irvin enlisted into the Navy after receiving his draft note. He wanted to pick which branch he entered, so he was not in the infantry. He entered during the Vietnam War and served through this war. Irvin's mother drove him to Harrisburg, where he got on a train and drove to his basic training in Great Lakes, Illinois. His most vivid memory of training was the first night because he was in shock of what had just happened. Basic training was hard for Irvin, but one of his highlights was when they got to go into Chicago in the middle of training. After boot camp, his first assignment was Newport, Rhode Island. Irvin started in the boiler room, then was moved to the engine room. He got in a car accident and had to take a year and a half off of his service.
How long were you in the hospital?
It took a year and a half out of my 4 years service. I was on limited duty for a while until I got back to full duty. So it wasted about a year and a half.
He stayed out of combat, working as a boiler technician, engine man, auxiliary repair, and ship fitter, serving on the Pawcatuck AO-108 and Cadmus AR-14. Irvin worked on the Pawcatuck AO-108 and was not on the ship for very long and does not recall much of what happened. The Pawcatuck only needed a few repairs and was headed to Guantanamo Bay after it was fixed. His time on the Pawcatuck was very crucial for it to be able to continue fighting in Vietnam. After serving on the Pawcatuck AO-108, Irvin was on the Cadmus AR-14. This was a repair ship that had machine shops where Irvin worked. He specifically worked in the sheet metal shop.
That had machine shops and had everything there to work on those things. And I worked in the sheet metal shop. It was like a regular job, and we stood watch at night, fireworks,
As a ship fitter, he wanted to work with ductwork, sheet metal, and fabrication. Irvin took a liking to welding. He was supposed to go to Guantanamo Bay on the Cadmus, but started his discharge before he got the chance. Irvin was an SFM3 in the Navy, which stands for Ship Fitter Metal Third Class. He became an E2 and E3 by the time boot camp was over and soon became an E4. To become an E4, Irvin completed tests based off of certain knowledge of the work.
Were the tests hard?
Not specifically. They were pretty thick books you had to go through and learn stuff out of them, and you took a test on it.
Irvin passed the test to become an E5, but had to serve a year after completing the test to actually upgrade to the next rank. If he would have extended his service by 3 months, Irvin could have his E5 badge sewed on. However, he got 3 months leave because Vietnam was starting to end. Irvin was awarded the National Defense Medal that was given to anyone in the service. He also got an E2, E3, E4, and shipfitter badge. Irvin was married during the service to Betty Jane in 1969.
Mary was in the service. I took a 30-day leave.
Oh, okay. Okay. What year was that?
1969.
Okay.
July 12th. Took the whole month of July off.
They went on a honeymoon to the Poconos in Marygate City, New Jersey.
Did the GI Bill support your education?
No, I sent my wife to school instead of myself because she's the one that had the brains.
Okay.
Irvin was honorably discharged on January 1st, 1970. He served 3 months shy of 4 years in the U.S. Navy. He got off at Newport, Rhode Island right before his ship traveled to Guantanamo Bay. He was 24 years old by the end of his service that started in 1966.
How were you received by your family and community after your service?
Normal. I never paid much attention. You know, I know a lot of Vietnam veterans were not treated very good when they were home, but I kept a low profile.
He was used to being home often because he didn't leave the country, so it was not hard to readjust to civilian life. Did service change you in any ways?
Yeah, it disciplined me. That's most of it. I think everybody should go for a while.
Irvin feels as if people should know more about camaraderie and friendship you make while serving. When asked what message he would want to say to future generations, Irvin responded,
Say you're patriotic and serve your country.
Irvin currently lives in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania with his wife. He is retired from his job as a welding inspector. He has 2 sons named Benjamin and Justin and 2 granddaughters. Irvin is 73 years old and is living a good life. It has been 50 years since Irvin left the service. He was a boiler technician, auxiliary repair, and engine man shipfitter. He served for almost 4 years, earning the National Defense Service Medal. Irvin moved up to an E4 petty officer in his years of his service. He believes in patriotism and serving his country. Irvin was a good man who made friendships and learned a lot in his 4 years of serving in the Navy. Lastly, thank you for your service in the United States Navy.